The House will come to order. Members, please take your seats. Head Page.
The House is now in session. All persons not entitled to privileges of the floor, please retire to the gallery.
The members will rise and be led in prayer by Reverend Kevin Jones, pastor, Ebenezer Baptist Church, Richmond, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which will be led by the delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Good afternoon. Let us pray. God of creation, once again we come saying thank you. We thank you for this day that you have made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. God, we thank you for life and the abundance in which you give it to us. And God, we just thank you for these servants who have entered these hallowed halls this afternoon to do your business. So God, I thank you for their service, Lord, and I just pray that they remembered that they represent those in their districts where they are serving. So we invite your spirit to come and fall fresh on this House of Delegates this afternoon. God, I pray that you grant them wisdom, that you will grant them clarity of thought and understanding, God, and all the business that is done here. God, we pray that we will continue to evolve into a commonwealth that is fair and equitable and just for all. So come now, and we'll be so careful to thank you. Let all of God's people say, Amen. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The members will answer the roll call by indicating their presence on the electronic voting board. Clerk will close the roll.
Mr. Speaker, a quorum is present.
Pursuant to House Rule 3, I have examined and approved the Journal of the House of Delegates for February 23, 2026. Motions and resolutions under Rule 39, pursuant to the provisions of Rule 40, are now in order. Does the clerk have any announcements or communications?
Yes, sir. Communication from Her Excellency the Governor, pursuant to the provisions of Article 5, Section 5 of the Constitution and House Joint Resolution 29, I hereby request the introduction and consideration of two bills, one relating to Transformer Manufacturing Expansion Grant Fund, and the latter relating to the Solid Rocket Motor Manufacturing Grant Fund. Both of these bills will be patroned by Delegate Torian, Chairman of Appropriations, and the Transformer Manufacturing Expansion Grant Fund will be HB 1530, and the latter one will be House Bill 1531. So members of the House and the public, please be advised. Also, today is budget. This is Budget Week. Today, on your desks are the introduced budget with the committee amendments offered by Appropriations, which were unveiled on Wednesday. Keep those in the chamber for the rest of the week because we'll be referring back to those as well. Yesterday, I made the announcement as well. If you have floor amendments, they need to be up to the front desk by 12 tomorrow. And then on the form that's been shared with you, if there's any objections for purposes of debate or abstentions, please submit all of those no later than Thursday at 11. Ms. Speaker, finally makes the following conference committee reports, conference appointees for the following legislation. For Senate Bill 27, the Speaker appoints on behalf of the House Delegates Helmer, Simon, and Phillips. SB 27, Delegates Helmer, Simon, and Phillips. For Senate Bill 74, Speaker appoints Delegates Cousins, Askew, and Moorfield. SB 74, Delegates Cousins, Askew, and Moorfield, and that's companion legislation to House Bill 867 for everyone's edification. For Senate Bill 323, Speaker appoints on behalf of the House conferees Delegates Simon, McPike, and Phillips. SB 323, Delegates Simon, McPike, and Phillips. For Senate Bill 337, the Speaker appoints Delegates Helmer, Simon, and Ballard. SB 337 House conferees are Delegates Helmer, Simon, and Ballard. For Senate Bill 425, the Speaker appoints Delegates Simons, Clark, and Kent. Welcome back. SB 425, Delegates Simons, Clark, and Kent. For Senate Bill 581, the Speaker appoints Delegates Bulova, Shin, and McNamara. SB 581, Delegates Bulova, Shin, and McNamara. And finally, Speaker appoints on behalf of the House for conferees for Senate Bill 589, Delegates Hope, McClure, and Tata. SB 589, Delegates Hope, McClure, and Tata. All that information will be available online in tomorrow's calendar. And the lead conferee, first announced conferee, is the lead conferee for purposes of deliberations. Mr. Speaker, with that, and now, and pursuant to House Rule 40, the Speaker requests you use your request to speak button for the agenda items listed up for reference on the voting board.
The delegate from Richmond, Delegate Cousins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Joining us for our invocation today was Reverend Kevin L. Jones of Ebenezer Baptist Church in Richmond. Originally from Rustburg, Virginia, Reverend Jones holds bachelor's degrees from Radford University and Palm Beach Atlantic University, and graduated with a Master of Divinity from the Interdenominational Theological Center in Atlanta, Georgia. Reverend Jones spent 16 years as pastoral staff of Tabernacle Ministry Baptist Church and is a past co-president of Peace, a construction-based organization, congregation-based organization charged with the mission of fighting injustice in the communities of Palm Beach County. In 2025, Reverend Jones was called to serve as pastor of the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, which has served as a spiritual and cultural cornerstone in Jackson Ward since 1858. Kevin and his wife, Michelle, are the parents of 3 sons and have 3 beautiful grandchildren. I would like to thank him for giving our invocation today and ask that we give him a warm house welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Scott County, Delegate Kilgore.
Mr. Speaker, I sort of rise for a welcome. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of our side anyway, we, when one member of the House is hurting, the rest of us hurt and issue a lot of prayers, and we want to welcome Delegate Clark back today, and been praying for you and hope you're doing great. Thank you.
The delegate from Richmond City, Delegate Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With us today in the gallery and throughout Capitol Square are realtors from several local associations of realtors, including my hometown favorite, the Richmond Association of Realtors. I ask that they please stand now. This delegation includes realtors from the Chesapeake Bay and Rivers Association of Realtors, the Richmond Association of Realtors, the Southside Virginia Association of Realtors, the Virginia Peninsula Association of Realtors, and the Williamsburg Area Association of Realtors, along with the delegates Pope Adams, Anderson, Cherry, Clark, Cousins, Daughtry, Downey, Fowler, Garner, Hodges, LeVere Bowling, McQuinn, Maida, Navarre, Price, Smith, Simons, Thornton, Waxman, Ward, Willett, and Wyatt. I'm so pleased to introduce these housing advocates and real estate professionals. Their work to increase housing opportunities and housing inventory across various regions of Virginia truly make a difference in the lives of our constituents. Realtors are engaged in our communities and work tirelessly to enhance the quality of life for all Virginians. I ask that my colleagues please give them a warm house welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Winchester, Delegate Wiley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for motion.
Delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House take out of order H.R. 30 of today's calendar found on page 22, and I request to speak to that motion.
Clerk will report a resolution.
House Resolution 130, celebrating the life of the Honorable James A. Davis.
Delegate from Winchester, Delegate Wiley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to present the resolution in honor of the Honorable James A. Davis, a man whose life was defined by service, leadership, and a deep love for the Commonwealth of Virginia. Jim Davis served in this very chamber representing the people of Bedford, Franklin, and Rockbridge counties. He understood that public service is not about titles or recognition, but about showing up for your neighbors and working to leave your community better than you had found it. His time in the House reflected the quiet commitment to doing the work the right way. Beyond his service here, Jim Davis devoted more than 2 decades of his life to higher education as president of Shenandoah University. Under his leadership, the university experienced remarkable growth, not just in buildings and enrollment, but in an opportunity. He believed education could change the trajectory of young persons' lives, and he worked every day to open doors for students who walked through Shenandoah's campus. But those who knew Jim will tell you that his legacy wasn't only professional, it was personal. He gave generously of his time and talents to charitable, civic, and faith-based organizations. He believed in investing in people and community and in service beyond himself. His leadership strengthened Shenandoah University, enriched the Winchester community and the Shenandoah Valley, and touched lives across the Commonwealth. Today, we remember not only a former delegate and university president, but a husband, a father, a mentor, and a servant leader. Our hearts are with his wife, Janet, his children, Barkley, Andrew, and Stephanie, and all who loved him and were shaped by his example. Mr. Speaker, I move that when the House adjourns today, it adjourns in honor and memory of James A. Davis. Thank you.
The delegate from Winchester, Delegate Wiley, moves that when the House adjourn today, relay that. Delegate Wiley moves the adoption of House Joint Resolution 124, and that when the House adjourns, House Resolution 130, and when the House adjourns today, it adjourn in the honor and memory of the Honorable James A. Davis. All those in favor shall rise. The resolution is agreed to. The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for the purposes of an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, today we are pleased to recognize the Virginia PACE Alliance and the leaders, clinicians, and staff who are with us at the Capitol. I ask that they please rise. PACE stands for the Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly. Is it a model of care designed to help eligible older adults, often those with complex health needs, remain safely in their homes and communities for as long as possible? PACE brings together an interdisciplinary team of care providers. Across the Commonwealth, PACE programs help seniors access primary care, specialty services, medications, rehabilitation, transportation, and other services. The PACE Alliance represents and convenes PACE organizations serving communities throughout Virginia. Please join me in welcoming the Virginia PACE Alliance to the General Assembly today.
Welcome to the Capitol today. Delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for a motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House take up out of order House Joint Resolution number 123 on page 22 of today's calendar, and I'd like to speak to that motion.
Clerk will report a resolution.
House Joint Resolution 123, commending real people educating others.
Delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Real People Educating Others has joined us in the gallery today, and I ask that they please stand for recognition. In 2008, the nonprofit Real People Educating Others was founded by local community leaders as an organization dedicated to supporting youth and families across the greater Hampton Roads area through mentorship, education, service initiatives, and extracurricular engagement. I myself have had a privilege of participating in many of the programs they've provided. Their work empowers young people, particularly those from underserved and socioeconomically challenged communities, by providing access to resources, guidance, and positive role models that promote academic success, leadership development, and long-term stability. From hosting basketball and football camps, honoring students with their Celebrating Success Award ceremony, and holding their annual back-to-school give-back program, which provides hundreds of students in need with necessary school supplies each year, their efforts have touched so many people in the 71st District and beyond. With that, I move to adopt the resolution.
The delegate from James City County moves that we adopt House Joint Resolution 123, commending real people educating others. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. Congratulations. Delegate from Henrico County, Delegate McQuinn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for the purpose of a motion, an introduction, and then an announcement.
Wow. Okay. The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for being so kind. Mr. Speaker, I rise for the motion. I move that the House would take out of order HR 159 on page 59 on today's calendar.
The clerk report a resolution.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, House Resolution 158, commending the Epsilon Iota Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Oh, 159.
I apologize. 159. My apologies. House Resolution 159, celebrating the life of King Salim Khalifani.
The delegate from Henrico, Delegate McQueen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I move the adoption of the resolution. I request to speak to the motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor the life and memory of King Salim Khalifani, a devoted advocate, a principled leader, and a faithful servant to the people of the Commonwealth. King Khalifani served as the former executive director of the Virginia State Conference NAACP, where he gave his time, his voice, and his energy to outgoing work of civil rights and equal justice. He stood firmly for fairness and opportunity, and he worked every day to ensure that the promises of Virginia was open to all people. He believed deeply in the power of civic engagement, in protecting the right to vote, and in lifting communities that too often felt unheard. His leadership strengthened the organization and left a lasting mark across the Commonwealth. Today we remember a man who dedicated his life to service and to the pursuit of justice. His work continued to live in the lives of those he touched and the progress he helped secure. Mr. Speaker, I ask that everyone would join me in honoring King Salim Khalifani and extend their sincere condolences to his family, his friends, and all who mourned his passing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Henrico, Delegate McQuinn, moves the adoption of House Resolution 159, celebrating the life of King Salim Khalifani, and that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn in the honor and memory of King Salim Khalifani. Those in favor of the motion shall rise. The motion is agreed to. The delegate from Henrico, Delegate McQuinn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today I rise for the purpose of introduction, and I ask if the Charles City High School is in the house, that they would stand at this moment in the gallery. Today I rise to welcome the civic and economic students from Charles City High School to the Capitol. Charles City High School is in the 81st House District, and today we have visiting with us 7th and 8th grade students who are studying the structure and the function of Virginia state government, including the House of Delegates, the Senate, and the governor. As they learn how laws are proposed, debated, and enacted, they are gaining a deeper understanding of how our Commonwealth serves its citizens. Being here in person allowed them to see that progress unfolds beyond the pages of a textbook. Visits like this are an important part of civic education. When students step inside this chamber and observe their government at work, they begin to appreciate both the responsibility and the privilege of participating in our democracy. It is encouraging to see such thoughtful engagement from young people who are already preparing themselves to be informed and be active members of their community. Mr. Speaker, as a member of the House, I ask that you would join me in extending a warm welcome to these students and their teachers and commend them for their interest in civic learning and public service. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Patrick County, Delegate Williams.
Mr. Speaker.
Oh, you have one more. That's why I try to tell y'all. Y'all always need to break that stuff up, but we're going to fix that later on. The delegate from Henrico, Delegate McQueen.
Yes, sir, Mr. Speaker. I gave it consideration, Mr. Speaker.
The trifecta.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, this is us rise for the announcement and the members of the House. We had a competitive, spirited game last night. Yes. That motivated cheerleaders from both sides. There was one side that won last night, and it wasn't the House. So, because the rumor is that they cheated, but I am not one. But I am not one to gossip, and so I'm moving on with the results. I want to certainly, before I move on, and to tell you about the great things that we did. That I want to give kudos to Delegate Benita Anthony with her smooth announcing voice that she used last night. Let's give it. And to Delegate Holly Seaboard, who joined, as we were raising the money, she went from seat to seat, insisting that people would give. I am not sure as what tactic she used, however, it worked. And so we want to thank her for that. But yeah, let's hear it for Holly. Now, even though the other side perpetrated as the winning basketball team, the real winners last night was the Massey Cancer Center and the House. And I want to say, because there was a record number raising of funds last night. And I want to give you, once I pull it back up, I want to give you, first of all, to say that over $78,000 was raised last night and committed to the Massey Comprehensive Cancer Center. We started the night with $6,500 in commitments, $65,000 in commitments, but thanks to the House and Senate members, staff, and our fans, we brought in $13,000. The most important challenge was the fundraiser one, and the House beat the Senate. The Senate raised $4,830. The House raised $13,205 last night. Let's hear it for all of you. And so that makes us the real winner. And we still have money, $300 that I've taken up today that's coming. And so, Mr. Speaker, at this time, I want to yield my remaining time to Delegate Sam Russell. Thank you.
The delegate from Roanoke, Delegate Russell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So the score from last night, the House had 27 points. The Senate had 10 points. The Senate impersonators, fraudulent members of the basketball team, had 21 points. Some crazy Senate math. I know we're moving all their bills by for the day. But I'd like to let you all know, come on over, the Senate pages have all kinds of bling bling. They won the Senate, they won the House pages have all kinds of bling bling. In defeating the Senate with so much spirit by winning the Spirit Award and helping us to raise all that money. So I hope we can give them a big round of applause. Look at all these trophies that we have. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, whose house? Our house. All right. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. The delegate from Patrick County, Delegate Williams.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I rise for introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I guess it would be he's trying to sneak out. Delegate Mike Mullins is in the balcony. Mike Mullins is in the balcony, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Welcome back, Delegate Mullins. Play ball. The delegate from Prince William, Delegate Henson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for a motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that Senate Bill 52, found on page 37, be re-referred to the Committee on Appropriations.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Henson, moves that Senate Bill 52, found on page 37, be referred to the Committee on Appropriations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Senate Bill 52 is re-referred to the Committee on Appropriations.
Thank you.
Delegate from Chesterfield, Delegate Doherty.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can our guests from Kids on First Foundation please rise? Kids on First is more than a baseball organization. It's a place where young athletes are developed on and off the field. They are committed to creating opportunities for underserved youth, building character, leadership, confidence through the game of baseball for kids throughout the Richmond metro area, stretching from Henrico, Richmond City, Chesterfield County, Hopewell, and Colonial Heights. Through intentional mentorship, skills development, and community engagement, Kids on First provides a safe and empowering environment where players can grow as students, athletes, and future leaders. After building baseball skills, they also believe in building fellowship and life experiences, celebrating milestones, encouraging teamwork, and creating memories that extend beyond the diamond. Kids on First is building more than players. They are building legacy, access, and opportunities, ensuring the next generation steps onto the field and in our communities prepared, supported, and seen. I hope that the House can give them a warm house welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House take up out of order House Resolution 146 on page 23 of today's calendar, and I'd like to speak to that motion.
Clerk will report a resolution.
House Resolution 146, commending Sarah Ortega, is now before you.
The delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Sarah Ortega has joined us in the gallery today, and I ask that she please stand for recognition. For the last 4 years, Sarah Ortega has represented the Jamestown District on the Williamsburg-James City County School Board and has provided her expertise to the Career and Technical Education Committee, Student Advisory Committee, Policy Committee, and School Liaison Committee. Her dedication to public education is evident in both her service to her community and her desire to ensure that students and teachers had the necessary resources in the classroom. During her tenure on the school board, Ms. Ortega served both as a member and as the chairwoman. She has been thoughtful in her decision-making, collaborative in her approach, and always committed to the best interests of public education. I am grateful for her service and leadership on the WJCC school board, and I'm grateful that as a fellow public school parent, she has used her advocacy to support all of our students. And I'd ask to move the adoption of the resolution.
The delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson, moves that we adopt House Resolution 146, commending Sarah Ortega. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The resolution is agreed to. Congratulations. The delegate from Albemarle County, Delegate Lawford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the gallery today, we have the Charlottesville-Albemarle chapter of Virginia Organizing, as well as many other chapters, and I ask them to rise. Oh, good. Virginia Organizing is a nonpartisan, statewide grassroots organization dedicated to challenging injustice by empowering people in local communities to address issues that affect the quality of their lives. Virginia Organizing especially encourages the participation of those who have traditionally had little or no voice in our society. By building relationships with individuals and groups throughout the state, Virginia Organizing strives to get them to work together, democratically and nonviolently, for change. On behalf of Delegates Carlson and Delegate Schmidt, I ask that the members please join me in extending Virginia Organizing a warm House welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Suffolk, Delegate Clark.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to take H.R. 158 on page 59 by until Thursday on February 26.
Delegate from Suffolk moves that we take H.R. 158 found on page 59, by until Thursday, March 6th.
February 26th.
February 26th. So Thursday, February 26th. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Joining us today in the gallery are advocates representing Virginia's autism community, and I ask them to please stand. And I'm sorry we lost one. In this chamber, we believe behavior is communication, so all are welcome. These individuals are here in Richmond for the 2026 Autism Advocacy Day, hosted by Virginia Autism Coalition. Autism Advocacy Day brings together self-advocates, family members, service providers, and community partners to advocate for enhanced services and supports for autistic individuals and their families across the Commonwealth. As a proud mama of a young adult with autism, our family so appreciates all your hard work. Today, approximately 1 in 31 children have been diagnosed with autism, and more than 250,000 Virginians are autistic. Of those, an estimated 30% have profound support needs requiring substantial lifelong care. And while we've made great strides, there is still so much work to be done here in the Commonwealth to ensure we are meeting the needs of our community. I hope my colleagues will join me in giving them a warm house welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, members of the body, we are joined in the gallery by representatives of the federally qualified health centers and ask that they please rise. Mr. Speaker, the FQHCs, as are known, are included in 208 delivery sites throughout the Commonwealth. There are over 50 health center advocates walking the halls today sharing stories about the comprehensive health services that FQHCs provide in our communities and some of their pressing issues in front of the General Assembly this session. In 2024, the healthcare centers served over 422,000 patients, of which 90% are low income. Health centers improve access to primary care and integrated specialty services such as preventative, behavioral substance use treatment, and more. Ladies and gentlemen of the body, please join me in welcoming them to the House. Thank you.
Welcome to the Capitol today. Delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members. Visiting with us today in the gallery, we have representatives from one of Virginia's largest employers, Newport News Shipbuilding, a division of HII, which is headquartered in the district I serve, and I ask that they would please stand. Since 1886, HII has evolved into a multifaceted enterprise that remains a ship construction leader while pioneering advances in critical technologies with its 45,000 plus employees. The Newport News Shipbuilding Division is well known for building and maintaining the most complex vessels in the United States Navy's fleet, including nuclear-powered aircraft carriers and submarines. Newport News Shipbuilding operates on 550 acres along 2.5 miles of the James River with over 26,000 shipbuilders. This makes Newport News Shipbuilding the Commonwealth's largest industrial employer. They understand the importance of recruiting talent early, and they have internship programs, partnerships and investments in K-12 and higher education, and its world-renowned century-old apprentice school. As HII Newport News Shipbuilding celebrates its 140th anniversary this year, I hope it will be the pleasure of the body to give these shipbuilders a warm house welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate McGuire.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the gallery today are students from the Consumer Studies program at Virginia Tech, and I would ask them to rise. Oh, there we are. The Consumer Studies program is led by my college advisor, Dr. Irene Leach, and prepares graduates to analyze issues from the perspective of consumers, business, and government. Students learn to help consumers improve their personal and financial well-being, to understand issues from the consumer perspective, and to track economic, social, and political changes that can impact public policies. And I hope it would be the will of the body to wish them a warm house welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for two motions.
Of course you do. The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that House Joint Resolution 124 on page 22 of the calendar be moved to Tuesday, March 3rd.
Delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson moves that House Joint Resolution 124 be moved until March 3rd. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House take up out of order House Joint Resolution 122 on page 22 of today's calendar, and I'd like to speak to that motion.
Clerk will report a resolution.
House Joint Resolution 122, commending faith walkers.
Delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Faith Walkers has joined us in the gallery today, and I'd ask that they please stand for recognition. Faith Walkers is a nonprofit organization that has been serving Williamsburg, James City County, and York County since 2022 by helping to reduce the rate of recidivism and ensuring formerly incarcerated people have access to the resources they need to reintegrate into our community and thrive. The founders of Faith Walkers have provided programs at the Virginia Peninsula Regional Jail, the Portsmouth City Jail, and Faith Recovery, a local residential addiction recovery center. They have also developed a comprehensive reentry and community resource guide for the Williamsburg area that is now used by probation officers, local correctional facilities, and other local partners, easing the transition to society for so many individuals. Their work has addressed barriers that lead to technical parole violations and unnecessary incarceration, enabling individuals to find long-term stability as they move forward and rebuild their lives. I'm also incredibly grateful to be a part of their annual Chess in the Park, which is a great program that they advocate for with some of our young people. And with that, I move to adopt the resolution.
The delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson, moves that we adopt House Joint Resolution 122, commending faith walkers. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The resolution is agreed to. Congratulations. The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today in the gallery we have members of Repo Rising Virginia, and I ask that they stand. Repo Rising Virginia has been advocating to protect and expand access to the full range of reproductive health care for the past 24 years. They represent over 50,000 members across the Commonwealth who support the constitutional amendment for reproductive freedom and legislation advancing reproductive health. Today is their annual advocacy day, and citizens from across the Commonwealth have come to the Capitol to meet with legislators about health bills that are making their way through the General Assembly. I hope it is the pleasure of the House to give them a warm welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. Pursuant to House Rule 30, the Journal shall reflect that the following members are away on pressing personal business and are granted leave from today's session. Delegate McLaughlin. The clerk will announce the next order of business.
Second portion of the morning hour reserved for the announcement of member requests to move legislation from any uncontested calendar to the regular calendar. There are 9. That first category today, Senate Bills third reading uncontested. The following measures are out of the block over to the regular calendar. Page 1, Delegate Suderline's SB 10. Page 5 of the printed calendar, Senator Evans, SB 315. Page 8, Senator Deeds. There are 3 pieces of legislation on page 8, Senate Bills 513, 514, and 520. Those are out of the block over to the regular calendar. Page 11, Senator Rouse's SB 669 out of the block. And finally, last bill in that category on page 13, Senator Jones's SB 765. Those are all out of the block and over to the regular calendar.
Clerk will announce the next order of business.
The third portion of the morning hour is announcement member requests for legislation to go by for today, and if such, subsequent motion by the majority leader. There are 5. In that first category, again, Senate bills on third, uncontested. Senator Suderline's SB 10 on page 1 is out of the block by for the day. Likewise, over on page 8 in that same block, Senator Deeds is 513, 514 and Senate Bill 520. Those are all by for the day. On page 11, Senator Rouse's SB 669 is by for the day. And then going on to a non-live category of the calendar, that Senate Bill's second uncontested, I'm sorry, those were, did I get those earlier? No, that's my fault, Mr. Speaker. So those are all by for the day, those 5. Then in the, I made a mistake, I apologize. So on the uncontested non-live portion of the calendar going back, that Senator Stanley's on page 27, SB 98, and page 35, Senator Scooterline's SB 692, both of those are out of the second uncontested block over to the regular calendar at the request, and I did not capture them, and I apologize. So we've done the moves, and now we've done the buy for the days.
The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the legislation as announced by the clerk go by for the day.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring, moves that the legislation as announced by the clerk go by for the day. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. Legislation is by for the day. The clerk will announce the next.
And the fourth and final portion of the morning hour reserved for member requests for points of personal privilege. Kindly use your request to speak button to get into the queue.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we all remember last year when the Richmond area suffered from a pretty severe public health crisis due to a water infrastructure failure that delayed even the General Assembly's work for several days. Aging water and sewage infrastructure is an ongoing problem here in the Commonwealth. While major state and federal investments have dramatically reduced pollution from wastewater treatment plants, sewage overflows and spills are occurring regularly in Virginia. In 2024, combined sewer systems in Virginia's cities released approximately 400 million gallons of stormwater sewage into just the James and Potomac rivers. And now, drinking and wastewater infrastructure concerns are affecting Virginia again. A month ago, approximately 243 million gallons of sewage spilled into the Potomac River following pipeline breaches in Maryland and Washington, D.C. While drinking water in Virginia is thankfully safe, the immediate and long-term environmental and health impacts are still relatively unknown. Untreated sewage can contain toxic chemicals, microplastics, pharmaceuticals, viruses, and bacteria, posing significant health risks to people and animals that contact them. Sewage can also feed algal blooms, especially in warmer weather, which can in turn cause dead zones and fish kills. All of this comes, Mr. Speaker, as federal funding to fix aging U.S. sewage infrastructure remains on the chopping block. And with the federal share of water, wastewater, and agricultural best management practices funding declining from 63% in the 1970s to below 10% now. And here's the scary part. According to the American Society of Civil Engineers' latest report, Virginia's drinking water and wastewater systems alone need a combined $15.8 billion in capital investment. That doesn't include additional unmet infrastructure needs. That's just in the Commonwealth of Virginia. This significant funding gap underscores the urgency of modernizing our aging infrastructure to better protect communities and waterways and the businesses that rely on those waterways. This is, there's much that we can do in the Commonwealth to help this, and that we have been doing, including payments to the Bay Restoration Fund and the ongoing state investment in wastewater treatment plant upgrades. The upgrades we've made to wastewater treatment systems have dramatically cut pollution in the Bay and our rivers over the last several decades. That being said, with this recent 243 million gallons of sewage in just one river, and regular spills, and the ongoing federal funding uncertainty, Virginia needs to invest in wastewater upgrades at much higher levels now and going into the future. One-time investments are not enough. We can't afford these repeat environmental and public health disasters. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from Rockingham, Delegate Runyon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am going to offer I would rise for a point of personal privilege,
The
sir.
delegate has the floor, sir.
Thank you, and I hope it's viewed in a little more positive light than the one that the good delegate from Arlington just presented, because it's about our barbecue chicken. And so, Mr. Speaker, today I rise to thank the Virginia Poultry Federation for providing a Shenandoah Valley-style slow-cooked barbecue chicken lunch at the General Assembly. If you've already had a chance to enjoy, you know it's just not any chicken. It represents one of the most important agricultural sectors in the Commonwealth and a proud tradition rooted deeply in the Shenandoah Valley. Poultry is Virginia's largest agricultural commodity. The industry contributes billions of dollars annually to our state economy and supports tens of thousands of jobs, from family to processing plant employees to truck drivers, feed suppliers, equipment dealers, and many others across the supply chain. In many of our rural communities, poultry is not just an industry, it's the economic backbone that sustains local businesses, schools, and tax bases. I also want to extend special recognition to the West Rockingham Ruritan Club, whose members prepared approximately 400 chicken halves for today's meals. If you ever have slow-cooked barbecued chicken over an open pit, you know it takes time, coordination, dedication, and talent. And these volunteers delivered. Today's meal is a small but meaningful example of what rural Virginia does best: produces high-quality food, bringing people together, and serving the community. So on behalf of this body, I ask that we thank the Virginia Poultry Federation and the Virginia poultry producers for their continued advocacy and support of Virginia agriculture, and the West Rockingham Ruritan Club for their hard work and service. Mr. Speaker, I hope all members will join me in expressing our appreciation. Thank you.
That chicken was good this morning. I'm not going to joke. It was right on time. Oh, we got more? Okay. The delegate from Loudoun, Delegate Singh.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in commemoration of Black History Month, I'd like to speak about a pioneer in Loudoun County, Charles Hamilton Houston. Delegate Martinez, who represents Leesburg, and all the Loudoun delegation, Delegates Reeser, Reed, and McAuliffe, associate themselves with these comments. Mr. Speaker, the Commonwealth has come a long way. Richmond was the capital of the Confederacy, and Virginia was a stalwart in segregation. Bit by bit, Virginia has become more open and welcoming, but that didn't happen by accident. It happened because of heroes in the past and the present who have made great sacrifices to move us forward. Mr. Speaker, born in 1895, Charles Hamilton Houston was a valedictorian of Amherst College in 1915. Later, he served in the Army as a first lieutenant in field artillery, serving in France and Germany in World War I. He was the first black student elected to the editorial board of Harvard Law Review, and later the dean of Howard University's law school. Perhaps most importantly, Houston was the first general counsel for the NAACP. He argued landmark civil rights cases in Loudoun County and in the United States Supreme Court. In Gaines v. Canada in 1938, he argued that it was unconstitutional for Missouri to exclude black students from the state's law school where no comparable facility for black law students existed within the state. He won the case, and the Supreme Court ruled that black students had to be admitted to a white school if there were only one law school in the state. This is widely seen as a precursor for Brown v. Board of Education, which was decided 4 years after his death. Today, he's often known as the man who killed Jim Crow. Mr. Speaker, it took courage, grit, and bravery for Charles Hamilton Houston to fight for a country that treated him as less than equal as he did in World War I. It took tenacity, intellect, and scholarship to help integrate Harvard Law School, graduate with honors, and go on to lead Howard University's law school. It took doggedness and brilliance to break down the walls of segregation, as he did in winning a landmark case in the Supreme Court. But for me personally, Mr. Speaker, I can say that I wouldn't be here today, serving in this body, if it weren't for Charles Hamilton Houston and leaders like him. On behalf of Loudoun County and a grateful Commonwealth, I thank Charles Hamilton Houston for paving the way. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Clerk will call the calendar.
Calendar for today, Tuesday, February 24th for the Virginia House of Delegates. First category, Senate bills on third reading uncontested calendar block. First bill in the block begins on page 2 of the printed calendar, Senate Bill 75, which is legislation to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to emergency and temporary detention transportation. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services with an amendment in nature substitute.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the House adopt the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 75 clarifies that certain retired officers qualify as law enforcement officers for emergency custody and temporary detention purposes, and it can provide transportation to individuals while still maintaining custody. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Next up in the block, Senate Bill 112 is legislation to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to the Department of Veterans Services, Virginia War Memorial Division. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Richmond, Delegate Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, SB 112 is identical to my House Bill 1047 and simply clarifies the working relationship between the War Memorial Foundation and the Commissioner of the Department of Veterans Services. I move the bill's passage.
Senate Bill 194 before you now would direct the Board of Medicine and the Board of Nursing to require certain applicants for licensure and licensure renewal to indicate whether training has been completed on the electronic death registration system. This legislation also is Report Committee on Health and Human Services.
The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 194 requires the boards of medicine and nursing to update licensure applications to indicate whether certain providers will sign death certificates, and if so, complete the Department of Health's electronic death registration system. This is identical to HB 156, which passed the House unanimously. I move that the bill pass.
Next up in the block, Senate Bill 212 is legislation that seeks to amend and reenact portions of the Code of Virginia relating to the TPA-certified optometrists selling and dispensing Schedule 6 controlled substances requirements. Legislation reported to the Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Tran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House adopt the committee substitute. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker.
There is no
I don't
committee
move.
substitute.
I take that motion back, Mr. Speaker. This bill allows licensed optometrists who are certified to prescribe therapeutic pharmaceutical agents to also dispense Schedule 6 medications directly from their offices, and it is identical to my House Bill 1006. I move the passage of this bill.
Next up in the block, we come to Senate Bill 239, which would direct the State Health Services Plan Task Force to develop recommendations for designated areas of the state with identifiable need for certain projects and expedited review criteria for those projects, as well as to direct the Board of Health to update regulations implementing expedited application and review. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services.
The delegate from Suffolk, Delegate Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 239 directs the State Health Service Plan Task Force to make recommendations for certain areas of the Commonwealth that have an identifiable need for additional health care access and barrier-related projects. SB 239 is an identical cognate of HB 1337, which is my bill, which passed the House uncontested. Mr. Speaker, I move the bill pass.
Over on page 4, we come to Senate Bill 247, legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to nursing homes, change of operator, application to Commissioner of Health for change of operator license, civil penalty. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Mr. Speaker, SB 247 requires nursing home operators and management to apply to the Commissioner of Health for change of operator license upon change of ownership. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Senate Bill 291 continues in the block. It is legislation to amend and reenact different sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the State Board of Health Regulations, standard for levels of neonatal care. Legislation Report Committee, Health and Human Services, substitute.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House adopt the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With the substitute, SB 291 is now identical to my HB 456, which directs the State Board of Health to create new standards of neonatal designation care based on the care designation standards established by the American Academy of Pediatrics. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Continuing with the block, we come now to Senate Bill 319, which is legislation to amend and reenact Section of the Code of Virginia relating to migrant labor camp permits, expiration. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 319 is identical to my HB 340, which passed the chamber by a vote of 98-0. It removes the annual December 31st expiration date for all issued migrant labor camp permits and provides that such permits expire 12 months from the date of issuance. Mr. Speaker, I move the bill pass.
Senate Bill 325, now before you, seeks to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, tenant remedies, early termination of rental agreement by military personnel. Legislative Report Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Fagan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 325 is identical to my House Bill 174, which passes body unanimously and allows service members to terminate a lease when they receive qualifying orders and removes the outdated 60-day notice requirement that now aligns Virginia law with federal law. Mr. Speaker, I move passage of the bill.
Over on page 6 from the calendar, we come to Senate Bill 379, which would direct the Board of Pharmacy to schedule Silas Simon upon federal scheduling changes. Legislative Report Committee on Health and Human Services.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 379 is identical to my HB 1647, which removes a state-level delay that can prevent Virginians from accessing newly FDA-approved medical treatments. This bill will help provide to those with serious conditions like treatment-resistant depression and PTSD by ensuring FDA-approved psilocybin moves from Schedule 1 into a lower schedule here in Virginia as soon as the DEA takes action on the federal level. I move that the bill pass.
Senate Bill 398 is next up in the block. It is legislation to amend and reenact portions of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Birth-Related Neurological Injury Compensation Program and Fund. Board of Directors, Plan of Operation, Filing of Claims, Awards and Coverage for Expenses or Services. Legislative Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with Amendment Nature Substitute.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Tran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the House adopt the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Tran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The bill as substituted is identical to my House Bill 1007, which passed the body unanimously. It modernizes the Virginia Birth-Related Neurological Injury Compensation Program, also known as the Birth Injury Fund, to authorize electronic filing, establish clear deadlines, remove language inconsistent with federal law, and other oversight and transparency requirements. I move passage of the bill.
Next up in the Senate Bill third reading uncontested calendar is Senate Bill 401, SB 401, seeks to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to authorize septic tank inspectors, scope of services, and requirements. Legislative Report Committee on General Laws with amendment nature of a substitute.
Delegate from Dinwiddie, Delegate Pope Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House adopt the general law substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Dinwiddie, Delegate Pope Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the substitute for SB 401 is now identical to my House Bill 1178 and brings clarity, consistency, and consumer protection to septic system inspections conducted during real estate transactions across the Commonwealth. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Continuing with the block, Senate Bill 492, now before you, seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to professions and occupations, regulation of geologists. Legislative Report Committee on General Laws.
The delegate from Winchester, Delegate Wiley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 492 is cognate to my bill HB 1289, which passed this House 95-3. This bill categorizes geologists to professional services joining engineers, architects, and several other regulated professions. Mr. Speaker, I move passage of this bill.
Senate Bill 493 is legislation that seeks to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to consumer protection, automatic renewal of or continuous service offers, disclosure, and cancellation. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Reeser.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Reeser.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill strengthens consumer protections by making it easy to cancel a subscription with clear disclosure of automatic renewal terms. It is the cognate to my HB 1022, and I move that the bill pass.
Turning to page 8, those three bills there are out of the block and by for the day, so therefore continuing third reading uncontested block, top of page 9, we come to Senate Bill 532, legislation to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to alcoholic beverage control, banquet license, municipality, or nonprofit organization. Legislative Report Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Bolivar.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. SB 532 is the cognate to my HB 1343, which passed unanimously from this body. SB 532 allows a museum to deactivate a retail license in their museum store in order to hold a banquet license and allow for support from manufacturers, importers, and wholesalers for a special event. Currently, one cannot hold this type of banquet license if the museum sells alcohol in the museum store. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Next up in the block, Senate Bill 605, legislation to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Board of Accountancy, licensing requirements, and active and emeritus status. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws with an amendment.
Delegate from, let's say Stafford, Delegate Carroll.
Mr. Speaker, I move the committee amendments.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, SB 605 is the Senate cognate to our House Bill 870, which directs the Department of Accountancy to provide licensing requirements, specifically annotating the differences between the inactive and emeritus licenses requirements. Mr. Speaker, I move the bill pass.
Over on page 10, we continue with the block. Senate Bill 608 would direct the Virginia Department of Health and the Virginia Department of Corrections to develop agency guidelines for hiring peer recovery specialists with previous criminal convictions for compensated employment. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 608 is identical to my House Bill 209, which directs VDH and DOC to develop guidelines for hiring peer recovery specialists regarding barrier crimes. This is a recommendation from the Joint Commission on Healthcare, and I move that we pass this pillion bill.
Next up in the block, Senate Bill 626, which seeks to amend and reenact portions of the Code of Virginia and repeal several others, all related to health insurance reporting requirements. Legislation Reporting Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Shin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 626 is identical to House Bill 618, which passed the House 92-1. At the request of the Bureau of Insurance, SB 626 modernizes and streamlines the Bureau's data collection and reporting process by eliminating outdated reports, consolidating duplicative reports, and replacing one report with a more useful public inventory, as well as moving the deadline for the Managed Care Ombudsman report from December 1st to January 1st. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Senate Bill 641 would direct the Board of Medicine to amend its regulations regarding office-based buprenorphine treatment to require providers to offer counseling or referral to counseling. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 641 does what the clerk said it does. It tells the Board of Medicine to update its regulations on office-based buprenorphine treatment to require providers to offer counseling or referrals when clinically appropriate. This is a recommendation of the Joint Commission on Healthcare, and this bill is identical or cognate of HB 712. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Senate Bill 6. Senate Bill 669 out of the block and by for the day. Therefore, continuing with the block, we come to Senate Bill 677, bottom of page 11. This legislation seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to restaurants, certain facilities or programs exemptions. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services with an amendment.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I move that the House adopt the committee amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 677 exempts facilities that provide custodial care to 12 or fewer adults or children from the regulations that apply to restaurants. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Over on page 12, we come to Senate Bill 706, legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to the Department of Health opioid antagonist distribution program reports. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services. Senate Bill 706 on page 12.
Delegate from Middlesex, Delegate Hodges. Oh, the delegate from Rico, Delegate Willett.
I'll do it.
Somebody.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 706 requires the Department of Health to maintain a list of entities that are receiving opioid antagonists through its distribution program, and then also to submit quarterly distribution reports related to that to the Opioid Abatement Authority. This is the uncontested House cognate was HB 1063, and I move that the bill pass.
Next up is House Bill 745. That is legislation to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to health insurance, prohibited restrictions on in-network referrals. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce.
The delegate from Henrico, Delegate LaVere Bowling.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 745 is the cognate to House Bill 424, which passed this chamber unanimously as well. This bill prohibits insurers from restricting an in-network provider's ability to refer a patient or a specimen to an in-network clinical laboratory or pathology service provider, unless doing so would violate state or federal self-referral laws. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bills pass? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 98, no 0.
Ayes 98, no 0. The bills pass.
Continuing with today's calendar, page 13 of the printed calendar, we come to a new category, Senate bills on third reading, regular calendar. First up in this new calendar category block is Senate Bill 22, which would direct the Board of Medicine and Board of Nursing to require certain licensees to complete bias reduction training as part of their continuing education and continuing competency requirements for licensure, as well as to amend and reenact portion of the Code of Virginia relating to the Board of Nursing continuing education requirements. Legislative Report Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 22 directs the boards of medicine and nursing to require continuing education on implicit and explicit bias reduction in healthcare settings for certain licensees. The bill updates the current law to expand the Board of Nursing's authority. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 34.
Ayes 63, noes 34. The bill passes.
Over on page 14, we come to Senate Bill 28, which is legislation to amend and reenact Section of the Code of Virginia relating to overtime for certain employees, domestic workers. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with an amendment nature as substitute.
The delegate from Prince William, Delegate Henson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate for Prince William, Delegate Henson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill 28 is a cognate to my bill, House Bill 27, which passed out of the House by a vote of 62-35 with one abstention. Senate Bill 28 provides overtime protections for live-in domestic workers. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 34, abstentions 1.
Ayes 63, noes 34, abstentions 1. The bill passes.
Next up, Senate Bill 48, legislation to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, landlord remedies, noncompliance with rental agreement, mandatory waiting period. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill 48 is identical to my House Bill 15, which would increase from 5 to 14 days the amount of time renters have to pay their rent before the eviction process can begin. I move that we pass the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 64, noes 34.
Ayes 64, noes 34. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 132 would direct the Board of Housing and Community Development to review and consider amending regulations for temporary tents used for agritourism purposes. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Chesapeake, Delegate Leftwich.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill is identical to my House Bill 735, which would ask the Board of Housing and Community Development to review the use of tents in agricultural zones, and I would ask passage of the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk, close the roll.
Ayes 93, noes 5.
Ayes 93, noes 5. The bill passes.
We come next to Senate Bill 133, which would direct the Department of Social Services, Behavioral Health and Developmental Services, and Health to study the Commonwealth's response to and services available to address parental, neonatal, and postnatal substance use and the effects of such substance use on newborns and children. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services, Amendment Nature Substitutes.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House adopt the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Speaker, SB 133 establishes a work group among the Departments of Social Services, Behavioral Health, and Developmental Services and Department of Health to study how the Commonwealth addresses parental prenatal and postnatal substance use and its effect on newborns. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 80, ayes 79, noes 19. Ayes 80, noes 18. Try it again.
Ayes 80, noes 18. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 161 seeks to amend the Code of Virginia relating to health insurance, limit on cost-sharing payments for prescription drugs under certain plans. Legislation Board Labor and Commerce with amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Henson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Prince William, Delegate Henson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill 161 is a cognate to my House Bill 625, which passed the House 63 to 35. It requires each carrier that offers health plans in the individual or small group market to ensure at least 50% of all health plans offered, or at least one plan if fewer than two are offered, and each rating caps prescription drug costs. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 64, noes 34.
Ayes 64, noes 34. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 172 now before you seeks to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to health insurance claims, electronic attachments accepted. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Maldonado.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, SB 172 is the cognate to HB 676, which passed the House unanimously on a vote of 98 to 0. The bill modernizes health insurance claims by allowing providers to submit documentation through electronic attachments and to establish medical necessity, coverage benefits, prior auths, and request reconsiderations. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, noes 1.
Ayes 97, noes 1. The bill passes.
Over on page 16, we come to Senate Bill 178, legislation to amend and reenact Sections of the Code of Virginia relating to dental assistance, supragingival scaling, and coronal polishing, certification. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill 178 is identical to my House Bill 970, which would allow dental assistants to obtain hands-on training and certification to perform basic functions during dental hygiene appointments under the supervision of a licensed dentist or a licensed dental hygienist. I move that we would pass the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 80, noes 18.
Ayes 80, noes 18. The bill passes.
Next up, Senate Bill 215 is legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to prohibiting employers seeking wage or salary history of prospective employees, wage or salary range transparency, cause of action. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce. Delegate Maldonado has floor amendments, has a floor amendment that are available to the members and to the public. Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Prince William, Delegate Maldonado.
No, they're not.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt the floor amendment and speaking to that amendment.
House will be at ease.
They're not.
$215 will be taken by temporarily.
Therefore, we come next to Senate Bill 248, which is legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to restaurants, food allergy awareness notice required. Legislation Board Committee on Health and Human Services with amendments.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, as amended, SB 248 is identical to my HB 373, which passed the chamber by a vote of 63 to 30. It requires the State Health Commissioner to publish in multiple languages a notice on the Department of Health website containing procedures for restaurant staff to follow when a customer has a food allergy. This bill also requires restaurants to include, if you have a food allergy, please notify us. Mr. Speaker, I move the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 65, noes 32.
Ayes 65, noes 32. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 273 now before you seeks to amend and reenact Section of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act Eviction Diversion Program eligibility. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate McClure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 273 is the cognate to my HB 837, which would expand the eviction diversion program so that additional eligible tenants can participate around the Commonwealth. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 65, noes 33.
Ayes 65, noes 33. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 282 now before you seeks to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to dental hygienist licensure. Dentists eligible to practice in a foreign country or jurisdiction. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services with an amendment.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Train.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the House adopt the committee amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate
Thank
Train.
you. Mr. Speaker, as amended, the bill matches my House Bill 1036, and it allows the Board of Dentistry to consider dental hygienist licensure applications from foreign-trained dentists who've met certain educational and clinical requirements. I move passage of the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 90, noes 8.
Ayes 90, noes 8. The bill passes.
Over on page 18, we come to Senate Bill 290, legislation that seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act. Enforcement by localities. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill 290 is identical to my House Bill 14, which would grant localities the authority to enforce the health and safety provisions of the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act on behalf of tenants to therefore help protect the communities they serve. I move that we would pass the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 65, noes 32.
Ayes 65, noes 32. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 332 is legislation to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to medical cannabis administration to terminally ill patients. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services with amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House adopt the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 332 requires the Department of Health to update regulations clarifying that hospital staff can store, dispense, and administer cannabis oil if deemed valid for a patient. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, noes 1.
Ayes 97, noes 1. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 340 now before you seeks to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to small renewable energy projects, agrivoltaic definition advisory panel. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with an amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Fauquier County, Delegate McAuliffe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 340 is identical to the HB 508, which previously passed the body with 66 votes. It simply defines agrivoltaics as the intentional co-location of agricultural production and solar energy on the same land, and I hope it be the will of the body to pass the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 68, noes 30.
Ayes 68, noes 30. The bill passes.
Over on page 19, we come to Senate Bill 358, which seeks to amend and reenact the Code of Virginia relating to continuing care providers quarterly meeting requirements. Legislation reported from the Committee on Labor and Commerce with an amendment in nature substitute.
Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Watts.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With the committee substitute, Senate Bill 358 is identical to my cognate, House Bill 476, which passed this House 83-14 regarding meetings with the residents of continuing care communities. I hope that it'll be the pleasure of the body to pass the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 89, noes 9.
Ayes 89, noes 9. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 373 is legislation seeks to amend and reenact Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act. Noncompliance as defense to action for possession for non-payment of rent. Legislation report committee on general laws with amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Albemarle, Delegate Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House adopt the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Albemarle, Delegate Carlson.
Thank you. The substitute conforms Senate Bill 373 to my House Bill 281, which passed this body by a vote of 64-34. As a reminder, the bill removes a requirement that tenants pay all past due rent before raising the defense of unlivable conditions during an eviction proceeding. I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 34.
Ayes 63, noes 34. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 430 seeks to amend the Code of Virginia relating to authority of local governments, service employees. Legislation report Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill strengthens our ability to protect building workers like custodial staff, janitors, security guards, doormen, and superintendents when their employer changes by allowing localities to adopt displaced worker protections. It's identical to my bill HB 338 that passed the House 62-35. Mr. Speaker, I move that we pass the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 63, noes 34.
Ayes 63, noes 34. The bill passes.
Over on page 20, we come to Senate Bill 596, third reading regular. This legislation seeks to amend the Code of Virginia relating to contraception, right to contraception, applicability, enforcement. Legislation report on Health and Human Services with an amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Mr. Speaker, I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Now, Senate Bill 596 is now identical to my House Bill 6, which codifies a person's right to contraception by preventing state or local action that would infringe upon an individual's right to access the various drugs, products, and devices for contraception used in preventing pregnancy and treating other health issues. I again reiterate this bill does not change the current law on who can get contraception or how they can get it. I move that we pass the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 65, noes 33.
Ayes 65, noes 33. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 628 now before you seeks to amend the Code of Virginia relating to the Department of Housing and Community Development Eviction Reduction Program report. Legislation report Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate McClure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, SB 628 is the cognate to my HB 527, which would codify Virginia's eviction reduction program. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 65, noes 32.
Ayes 65, noes 32. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 665 is legislation to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to the Department of Housing and Community Development, local housing policy. Report to the department. Legislation report Committee on General Laws with an amendment.
The delegate from Prince William, Delegate Thomas. Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to. The delegate for Prince William, Delegate Thomas.
Now that we got that fixed, Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill 665 is the cognate to my House Bill 356, which enhances the reporting requirements from localities on housing issues to the state so we make better policy decisions. I move passage of the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 76, noes 22.
Ayes 76, noes 22. The bill passed.
Senate Bill 722 is legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to motion picture theaters, open captioning. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services.
The delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill is the Senate cognate to my HB 602, which passed 79 to 17. This is an accessibility bill that requires open captions at Virginia's movie theaters, really important for the deaf and the hard of hearing community, but also for kids learning to read, for seniors, and for veterans who have hearing loss connected with their service. I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 81, no 17.
Ayes 81, no 17. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 630 seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to health insurance, tobacco surcharge. Legislation reported from the Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Hope.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, members of the body, Senate Bill 630 is now the cognate to my House Bill 220. This repeals the health carrier's authority to vary premium expenses by 50% for smokers. We did a study on this at the Joint Commission on Health Care about 3 or 4 years ago and found that by repealing this provision, we can lower health insurance premiums by 3 to 4%. And so at a time when people are looking at their premiums go up, this is something tangible we can take home to our constituents to tell them that we did to lower the cost of premiums. I move that we pass the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 85, noes 13.
Ayes 85, noes 13. The bill passes.
Over on page 22 of the printed calendar, we come to Senate Bill 680, legislation to amend and reenact portions of the Code of Virginia and repeal others, all relating to professions and occupations, adjustment of fees by regulatory boards, recovery of disciplinary and monitoring costs. Legislation on general laws with an amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Chesapeake, Delegate Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt the Senate substitute.
Shall the
committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 680 is the cognate of my House Bill 796 that passed the body on a vote of 68-28. The substitute repeals requirements related to the fee changes in regulatory boards of the Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation, as well as the Department of Health Professions. The substitute, Mr. Speaker, also requires the reporting any revisions to the chairs of the House Committee on Appropriations, as well as the Senate Committee on Finance and Appropriations. I move that we pass the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 76, noes 22.
Ayes 76, noes 22. The bill passes.
Returning to pick up a couple other bills from earlier, page 5, if you're following along that way, we come to Senate Bill 315, which is legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to Safeguarding American Veteran Empowerment Act, prohibited practices, penalties. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with an amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 315 is now identical to my House Bill 398, which passed this body on a vote of 88-5. The bill amends the Virginia Consumer Protection Act to protect veterans from predatory practices while maintaining their freedom to select how they navigate the disability process. I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 91, noes 5.
Ayes 91, noes 5. The bill passes.
Over to page 13, we come next to Senate Bill 765. This is legislation to amend multiple sections of the Code of Virginia, all related to charitable gaming poker events. Legislation report Committee on General Laws with amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Krizik.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House adopt the general law substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 765 is the cognate to my House Bill 399, which passed this House 88 to 8. With that substitute, the bill now conforms to my bill, and which amends charitable gaming rules for Texas Hold'em poker tournaments and increases the minimum age to participate to 21. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 88, noes 8.
Ayes 88, noes 8. The bill passes.
And over, lastly, on page 16, we took this bill by temporarily. Last bill here is Senate Bill 215, legislation amending the Code of Virginia related to prohibiting employer seeking wage or salary history of prospective employees, wage or salary range transparency, cause of action, legislation report Committee on Labor and Commerce. Delegate Maldonado has floor amendments which now are available not only to the public but to the members here in the chamber.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Maldonado.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move the floor amendments. Would like to speak to those amendments.
The clerk will report the floor amendments.
Floor amendments are distributed and available for everyone to see.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just briefly, this bill, SB 215, is a cognate to my HB 636 on wage transparency. I won't go through the bill again because we've heard it 3 times already. The latest change is to supplement and clarify the right to cure, the 15-day right to cure, that says if an employer cures, then there is no ability to take legal action. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be passed.
Shall the floor amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The floor amendment is agreed to. Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 68, noes 29.
Ayes 68, noes 29. The bill is agreed. The bill passes.
Mr. Speaker, the memorial resolutions and the commending resolutions have all been dispensed with, so that completes today's calendar.
Per House Rule 51, the House is returned to the morning hour. Does the clerk have any additional announcements or communication?
No communication. Simply remind you, in this budget season, the deadlines, the emails that I sent, and the announcement I made earlier about deadlines for tomorrow, floor amendments, and for objections by 11 on Thursday. Looking ahead at this afternoon, it's approximately 1:35. Looking ahead, we have Committee on General Laws is meeting a half hour after adjournment, so it'll be a little bit after 2 o'clock. They'll be on the House Committee Room B on the second floor. Once the full committee's finished, then the Procurement and Open Government Committee will be meeting, so General Laws and one of its subs. Similarly, half hour after adjournment, the Committee on Labor and Commerce will be meeting. They'll be down in the lower level, House Committee Room A. Once the full committee's finished, then Subcommittee number 1 will meet. So Labor and Commerce and one of its subcommittees. The last meeting, legislative meeting for today is at 4:30, Finance Subcommittee number 2. And they'll be up in the North Subcommittee Room 200 over on the second floor of the General Assembly building. Looking ahead to tomorrow, Wednesday, February 25th. The Speaker's Interfaith Devotional will be at 7 as usual in the Speaker's Conference Room up on the 14th floor. The Conservative Energy Caucus is meeting. Conservative Energy Caucus meeting at 7:30. They'll be on the 7th floor North meeting room. One of the subcommittee rooms up on the 7th floor there, the north one at 7:30. At 8 o'clock, the Military and Veterans Caucus is going to be meeting. They'll be in Senate Subcommittee Room 3 on the 3rd floor. At 8 o'clock, the Committee on Education will be meeting. They'll be in the lower level, House Committee Room A. And that'll just be the committee, no subcommittees. At 8 o'clock tomorrow, ACNR's Natural Resources Subcommittee. They'll be in House Committee Room B on the 2nd floor. Agriculture, Chesapeake, Natural Resources Sub at 8. Then once they're finished at 9 o'clock, the full committee will meet in the same room. And then at 10 o'clock, Committee on Appropriations Higher Education Subcommittee. They'll be up on the 12th floor in the House Appropriations Conference Room. So that is the last legislative meeting at that time. Then coming into prior to session, the two caucuses will be meeting. Republican caucus is meeting at 11:15 tomorrow, so we will update that accordingly. And the Democratic caucus will be meeting 11:15 as well. So Democrats in House Room 1, Republicans in House Room 2. That is all the announcements that I have.
Delegate from Rockingham, Doug Wilk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rise for an announcement.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, the clerk did announce the Conservative Energy Caucus meeting for tomorrow morning. It's going to be about agrivoltaics. Some of us don't know what that is, so it's going to be an opportunity to learn more about that. Also, just solar developers, business folks are involved in looking into legislation that we've had this year. We're going to have a discussion on that and invite everyone to come by. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Alexander, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn to reconvene tomorrow at 12 noon.
Delegate from Alexander, Delegate Herring, moves that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn to reconvene tomorrow at 12 noon. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The delegate from Alexander, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do now adjourn.
Delegate from Alexander, Delegate Herring, moves that the House do now adjourn. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The House stands adjourned until tomorrow at 12 noon.